Greetings, everyone. DFG here, Gideon's Flight. Hey, guys, you're not going to believe this news. Today, President Trump, in all of his ignorance, made a statement today that once the vaccine is developed, that and is ready to be administered, he is going to use the United States military to administer the vaccines. Now, I want you to think about what I just said. He's going to mobilize the United States military to force American citizens to take the vaccine. Now, of course, he doesn't word it quite like that in terms of force. But what else is it if that you cannot do anything? You cannot buy, you cannot sell, you cannot go out. You can't even go into a store, you can't go to work. You can't do anything unless you take the vaccine. So how is that not forcing it upon American citizens? But that's what this man has said. And I want you to compare and contrast. And I don't mean to overuse that word, but it's the word of the day for me. Look at what we talked about just a couple of days ago in Revelations. I'm going to give you that, and then I'm going to read to you exactly what Donald Trump said. So there's no mistaking what this nation's intention is as it relates to forcing this vaccine on everybody, this vaccine on everybody, which I fully believe is in alignment with what our history book tells us that's going to be the death of many, many, many Hebrew Israelites. And as you know, many of our people are so uninformed, are so disinterested, and so easily seduced, with freebies. Free something, free this, free that. Lazy, shiftless. Not all of us, but so many of us that at the end of the day, if it means getting something for nothing, they'll be more than willing to offer up their bodies to this beast in order to be able to continue to get those goodies. This is really the time that you need to learn how to say no, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Hebrew Israelites. If you don't know how to say no, I'm talking about to enticement. And that's another reason why, I talk about, not celebrating these paganistic holidays. Because pulling away, and I'm going to tell you what will happen if you try it. Just try it. I know some of you guys, well, if I don't do it, I'm not going to have fun or my family's going to shun me. Trust me, guys, on this. Trust me. If you take one step towards Yah and walk away from one of these holidays, what's the next one? Memorial Day. Refuse to celebrate it. Watch what Yahuwah will do with your mind, your insight, your body, your influence, and your provisions. And you will never know this unless you're bold enough to say, I'm not doing it. I don't care what everybody else says. If the rest of the family wants to do it, let them do it. I'm not going to do it. Because your ability to resist the little things at least will give you some inspiration, some motivation, maybe even a conviction when it comes down to standing against this big thing that's coming. The mark of the beast is coming. It's already set in place. And I believe that it's going to come through this vaccine program. Because he's going to cause the whole world to take this vaccination. Or they're not going to be able to travel abroad. They're not going to have access. And you might say, DFG, how do you know that? Well, are other countries walking around with a face mask on? Are other countries practicing social distancing all over the world? I think we all have to agree, yes. So if they're practicing that, then obviously when it comes down to pushing this mark, every nation on the planet is going to be in compliance. Because every nation in this planet is controlled by the beast system, the Roman system, the Roman European system, Esau system, headed by, yes, the Antichrist himself, Pope Francis. The spirit of the Antichrist is in every single pope you have seen and every single pope you will see. But I think you're looking at the last one. Because this one is very, very cunning. He's going to have this mass meeting very soon, where he's going to want all the religions to come together, and they're going to talk about, love and peace and unity. Oh, and making sure that we do everything we should do with the virus to stop the virus. He's gonna seduce the whole world through his message of tolerance and his message of love. But it's a wolf. But let's revisit the book real quick. Okay? Let's look at it one more time. And this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. And he was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that it could speak and cause all who refuse to worship the image of the beast to be killed. The image of the beast is Caesar Borgia, or white Jesus on the cross. That's the image of the beast. It came right out of Rome. That whole, Jesus concept, myth, the whole him on the cross naked, the crown on his head, the Pontius Pilate story, all of that foolishness. All of it was concocted right out of Rome, so that you can worship the image of the beast. And many of you have done it. And some of you are still doing it, even though you have come into the knowledge of the truth. And it says, and he was given power and breath to the image of the beast, so that it could speak and cause all who refuse to worship the image to be killed. You know what an image is, right, guys? An image. That means it looks like something made in the likeness of something. And if you don't worship it, in other words, you don't go along with it, you'll be killed. He also forced everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on his right hand or on his forehead, so that no one could buy or sell unless he had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of his name. And this is the wisdom. If anyone has insight, let him calculate the number of the beast. For it's a man's number. The number is 666. The Trace Act, 666. Yeah, they threw another 6 to let you know this is going to go on forever, infinity. And then it comes right over. Let's skip over here, because there's going to be a consequence. So for you guys saying, it's no big deal, I'm taking it. I got to eat, I got to survive, I got a family to take care, I got children to take care of. Okay, I get it. I get your reasoning. I get your rationale. I understand. But for every action, there's a reaction. We've all been taught that, right? You know what I'm saying? Right. For every action, there's a reaction. It's called, the laws of nature, reaping and sowing, right? Well, if you make the decision to do it, like many of you will, it says this is going to happen to you. And it says, for all that will take the mark of the beast, or the image of that beast, he said, the Most High, and this is in chapter 14, will throw them in the lake of fire that burneth forever and ever. That's the wrath of Yahweh. Just so you know, that's what you're going to reap for submitting to this beast system and allowing yourself to take that mark just so you can have access. And I realize it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough on all of us to resist it. But we're so used to our comfort, especially in the West, in particular, North America. We can't even resist going, without breakfast or a cup of coffee or a cigarette. Lo and behold, you tell us that we can't have cable, we'll blow our brains out, some of us. Literally. But he's going to force it. This is what the scripture says. The beast system is going to force it. And this is not just Donald Trump, I might have you. I know a lot of you would say that, it's just Donald Trump. What does it have to do with the rest of the world? It has everything to do with the rest of the world, because he is the leader of the so-called free world. And he answers to the beast. He is the false prophet, not the Pope, the man who's speaking the lies. Man even said he was the chosen one. You remember that? But let's go a little bit further. Let's go see what Trump had to say, okay? And this is CBS News. Trump says he will mobilize military to distribute coronavirus vaccine when it is ready. It says, President Trump says he will rapidly mobilize the U.S. military to distribute a coronavirus vaccine once it's ready. Focusing first on nursing homes. So you got parents in nursing homes. Watch out. You better get them out of there. Take them home where they should be in the first place. But focus on nursing homes and the elderly, most vulnerable to the deadly complications of the virus. Mr. Trump made the comments during an interview with Fox Business Maria Bartiromo. We're mobilizing our military and other forces. Who are the other forces? Remember I talked about the United Nations forces that are already here? See, guys, you gotta read between the lines. You gotta see these devils are cunning. So you gotta listen to what they say very, very carefully. Because most people will say, well, he's mobilizing the military. And that's what he's gonna do. And you better watch out. And I know our men in the military, some of them are lawyers, and they would never turn on Americans. But what they did not hear is other forces. So that part went right by them, went right over their heads. Here we go again. We're mobilizing our military and other forces, but we're mobilizing our military on the basis that we do have a vaccine. You know, it's a massive job to give this vaccine. Remember the TRACE Act? Right? Teaching, right? Reaching, right? What's the other part of it? Contacting, right? Everyone. Testing, reaching, and contacting everyone. TRACE. T-R-A-C-E. And here it is, you have him over here saying again. This is exactly what they're going to do. It's going to go to everyone, just as the scripture said it would go. Just as our book tells us that it's going to happen. And as we already heard, we are going to be the target. We're going to be the target. That number that they gave that they want to have, I think it was, I don't want to misquote it, I think it was like 100 for every 100,000, some number like that. Those people are going to be placed in our neighborhoods first. And once they try to eliminate all of us, as they tried to do in the days of Moses' birth, tried to kill all of the Hebrew boys, because without the boys, there can be no girls. They did it in Yeshua's time. Herod tried to kill all the boys under 2 years old. Remember that? And they've been doing it to the abortion clinics and every other method now, to drugs, AIDS, HIV, you name it, right? Trying to kill our boys, kill these babies, kill our families, kill the people. You kill the male, there will be no female. That bloodline. He's after the bloodline. He's after the Messiah. He's after the chosen ones. Because we're the threat to his kingdom. And he knows it. He knows that the end of himself is the beginning of us. And he will do everything in his power to make sure that does not happen. But can I continue? He says we're mobilizing our military and other forces, and we're mobilizing our military. That sounds like Trump to use the same goddamn word, in the same sentence twice over. But we're mobilizing our military on the basis that we do have a vaccine. It's a massive job to give this vaccine. Our military is now being mobilized, so at the end of the year, we're going to be able to give it to a lot of people very, very rapidly. I wonder what the hell that means. The president said, we will have a tremendous force because assuming we get it, then you have to distribute it, he added. And unless you're mobilized and ready, you're not going to be able to do it for a long time. So we're starting. So when is he going to start? So we're starting. When is he going to start? In the winter, right? Right? Into the fall. So-called Saturnalia time, you call Christmas. No. You know when he's going to start it? Let me finish this. So we're starting now. Right now. They're starting. And you say, DFG, well, I haven't heard anybody using the military, to give anybody. You've seen them use the military to force social distancing. You've seen them use the military to force, you having, masks on your face. Now, you can hardly go into any supermarket now, even down in the South. There's a big sign on the door. the city ordinance, you have to have a mask on your face and enter the establishment. In other words, you can't buy anything in here. We ain't selling you. We're not selling you anything in here unless you come in here with a mask on. They're already enforcing it. Because remember, it's all interconnected. Social distancing, having a mask, and the vaccination. Those are all three of the same things, guys. So they're already enforcing it. Some of you guys think, well, I'm not going to take the vaccine, but I'm going to wear the mask and I'm going to keep social distancing. No, you're going to do the other one too, because if you're willing to submit to wearing the mask and you're willing to submit to social distancing, then by decree you already, or by proxy, maybe that's a better word, you already state you're going to take the vaccine. Because the reason you're doing those things is so you can have access. And to continue to have access, the third part of this trinity is the vaccine. Now you think about it. If they weren't not going to force it on you, why would they put the military on you? If it's not going to be forced on the people, why would you be using the military to rapidly force it? What you going to tell the soldiers? Oh, just go over there, knock on everybody's door, and anybody want they can have, anybody don't want they can have, they don't have to take it. You need the military for that? Hell, you can get Jehovah's Witnesses to do that, knock on doors. No, if you're using the military for it, because they're going to be forcing it upon people. And we already know that the Trace Act said they're going to focus what? On the hot spots, those areas that are under medically served, sick people. Your people, my people, the Hebrew Israelites, Latinos, and so-called African Americans. That's exactly where they're coming. And then they'll catch some of the, the Caucasians, because they always got to have their little sacrificial lambs to legitimize themselves. They'll kill one of theirs to kill 100 of yours. To make it look clean. They want a clean kill. You know how they are with that clean kill. They want a clean kill. But the ultimate end is you. The ultimate goal is you. The ultimate goal is us. And as soon as we get that in our thick skulls, men and women, the sooner we can start to prepare, defend, unite, and most importantly, cry out to Yah. Call down Yah. He said, my people who are called by my name, he said, if they would humble themselves and if they would pray and if they would seek my face, I would heal them. In other words, I will protect them against this wickedness that is foreseen and this wickedness that is for sure to come upon us. It's already started. It's always been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years. We know about the prophecy from Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 64, 65, 66, 7, and 8. We already know about those things, but it would get worse. It wouldn't end there. See, a lot of the people thought, well, it's going to, when the slavery is in the 40 years over with, Yah's going to restore. Not till blood is high as horses or cattle in the streets, according to the scripture. Whose blood? Whose blood? That's the question you should be asking. And if you do nothing, or you continue to go along with this, you continue to accept this reality as though you're a helpless, weakling. Poor little me. Or I don't care. If I gotta die, I gotta die. Like I said before, it's easy to say that if you gotta die, you gotta die, when no one is clawing at you, trying to literally eat your flesh. Clawing at your children, taking your children off the streets like some wild beast, snatch your child right in front of your face and run off with it. To feast on it. It's easy to talk all this crap. Everybody is brave. Like Mike Tyson said. He said, when he talked about when he boxing, he said everybody, is a great fighter until they get till they feel the first punch. Then all of a sudden we find out, who's real and who's just pretending. And for you Hebrew men, it's time to gird up. Some of you guys, you got a little softness in you. You quick to get in these little petty arguments and disputes with your girl and and with your boys. You follow me, and talk a lot of shit. But soon as things get really, really tough, that little female in you come up. You're the baddest dude around until somebody else as bad as you show up. Then you're not so bad. Well, when that military comes and them other forces come, you follow, to enforce this on you and your family, I'm telling you, if you're not able to grab your testicles and man up, you have a problem on your hands. The scripture said many of us are going to die for the word. Many of us are going to die for the faith. I talked about that last night. I don't know why you're so afraid to die in the first place. I mean, that is all about destiny. No, we're not talking about dying before the time, but if a man doesn't have something to die for, he has nothing to live for. If there's nothing in your life worth dying for, your life has no value. Now the faith, your family, your freedom, your bloodline, your heritage, if that's not enough for you to die for, then you're a coward. Somebody needs to tell you that. And I'm not talking about these devils in these churches on Sundays lying to you. One of your brothers needs to tell you that. Your elderly brother, your big brother, your brother who's been in the struggle for years and years and years and years. And never allowed anybody to tell him what he could or could not do. Except he was in agreement with it, regardless of the circumstances. And I'm not the only one. Most of you guys got people like that in your family, and some of you guys are that guy. I realize that. And ladies too, I might add. Some of these women of Zion are some of the baddest women you ever want to meet. And they don't play. And women, I'm just saying to you too, you had better be ready to resist this vaccine. You had better be ready to go on a hunger strike. You better learn how to stop eating so much garbage. You better learn how to eat one meal a day, one little small meal a day. You go 2 or 3 days, you better start fasting, doing whatever you need to do. Better get that weight off of you, men too. You better start drinking, taking those vitamins and drinking healthy drinks and getting out there and walking and running and jogging and lifting weights. You better get yourself together, because it's going to take a lot of strength to endure, to resist this devil. And you better get strong in the word, because you're going to need this word to encourage you. When things get really, really dark and everything is sad and seems to be hopeless, you're going to give in if you're not filled with this word. If this word is not the foundation of who you are, you're going to give in. And you're going to die, and you're going to be appointed your portion with the hypocrites. And I don't need to tell you again, what that is. But guys, this is serious stuff. And for this guy, to be saying and making this clear voice that this is what he's going to do. You follow me? That he is going to force us to take the vaccine using the military and other forces. You need to take that serious, guys. That's not a joke. And he said he's going to start now. And by December, he plans to have it done. You know how close we are? We're about to go into the 6th month. We're about to go into June, guys. You're talking about 3 or 4 months. If you want to see how long that is, think how long ago it was New Year's. The time from New Year's to now is the time from now to every single person in this country is going to be forced to take that vaccination. You see, you don't have a lot of time. You got to get your mind made up right now. You got to get your mind, you better have a plan to resist or a plan to escape. But in this country, I'm telling you, you heard this man just say, he's going to use the mightiest military on the land, on the globe, on the earth, to force you to take this mark, this vaccination. He's going to use it. Now let me give you the verse of scripture one more time. What's going to happen if you succumb to it, if you submit to it, you go along with it. Babylon is fallen. Again, I said chapter 15, but it's chapter 14. 14, and I'm going to start reading at verse 8. And the second angel said, fallen is Babylon the Great, which made all the nations drink of her maddening wine and her adulteries. Simply saying the customs of capitalism. All of these the things that we have, what do they call that? Yeah, not only capitalism, but democracy. Remember a few years back, we were forcing all these Arab Springs and stuff, and everybody was opening up their borders and opening up themselves and freeing themselves from their so-called cultural boundaries. And everybody was being, a part of, the freedom movement and all of these movements that just be thyself, do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? Nobody should be able to restrain you. They were overturning these governments. Remember that? That started right here in America, pushing that stuff all over the world. Now everywhere you go, you got men got their pants is sagging and their ass is showing, and you got girls twerking, up and down. White, Asian, Hispanic, Black, Indian, East Indian, asses, no asses. And you just looking at them and you're just shaking your head like, goodness gracious. You guys look pathetic. And the same thing with the men. Everybody want to be a rapper. Everybody want to be cool. Everybody want to be down. Everybody want to be tattooed. Follow behind Babylon. And Babylon is going to fall. And he goes, and the third angel followed them and said in a loud voice, if anyone worships the beast in his image or receives the mark. Now that's in verse 9. If any of you decide to take that vaccination, to take that mark, that chip, or whatever else that's going to be inside of that vaccine, anyone who receives his mark on his forehead or on his hand, he too will drink of the wrath of Yahweh's fury, which has been poured full strength into the cup of his wrath, and he will be tormented with burning sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and Yeshua. And the smoke of their torment rises forever and ever, and there is no rest day or night for those who worship that beast or the image, or for anyone who received the mark of the beast. And here he goes again. President Trump said he will rapidly mobilize the U.S. military to distribute a coronavirus vaccine once it's ready to focus on nursing homes, old people, elderly, most vulnerable to the deadly complications of the virus. Less than 1% of Americans have died. 1% of populations around the world, and less than 1% of Americans have died from this virus. 99% of people did not die from this virus, okay? Mr. Trump made the comments during an interview. We're mobilizing our military and other forces, but we're mobilizing our military. That's what the man said. So that we'll be able to give it to a lot of people, a lot of people. The reason they don't say everybody, because some of us ain't taking that mark. That's why he can't say everybody, because some of us will die before we let them do it to us. Yeah, I'm one of them. I'm one of the resistors. And in this instance, I don't care what your ethnicity is. If you're resisting this, then we got that in common. We can be allies in that thing. And if that means we got to go out and we got to get ready, we got to arm up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. You can count me in. The military is now being mobilized, so at the end of the year, we're going to be able to give it to a lot of people very, very, very fast before you know it hits you, the president said. And we have a tremendous force because we're assuming we get it. And unless you mobilize and be ready, you're not going to be able to do it. So we're starting now. Quote, unquote. There you have it, guys. We're in the end times. We are in the end times. You know, and again, I don't know if you're prepared or not prepared. You see what's going on in your markets, the grocery stores. You see they're enforcing ridiculous laws. You can't go in a place to shop. People who were normally friends and interacting, now they don't socialize with each other because they're afraid of each other now. They've created fear. You're fearful of the very people you grew up with, friends, family, neighbors. Now you see them, y'all waving from a distance. You go into a market, you stepping back. Somebody's walking on the sidewalk, coming your way, they stepping off the sidewalk. Just things, God, that makes absolutely no sense when less than 1% of people have died from this. This thing is no worse than the common cold for most people. It ain't even as bad as the common cold. And yet you walking off the street, running from people, putting masks on just to go out anywhere. And now you got city, state, national government saying you better do it if you want to buy, shop, or enter in any establishment. They want your name, your address, if you go to restaurants now, so that they can track you down and anybody who you might know, so they come knocking on your door, snatch your loved one, snatch you out of there if you're perceived to have this virus that they're probably going to inject you with when you get the vaccination anyway. and you don't see this, well, if you don't see this, don't dread it. You weren't intended to see it because he did not open your eyes. And if your eyes are not open to this, it's not open for a reason. You figure that out. But for the rest of us, we see it, we understand it. We're going to stand up against it, and we're going to unite before Yah and ask him to give us the courage, the strength, and the insight, the military strategic ability to survive and to win in the name of Yeshua. Love you guys. DFG. Guys, look in these eyes. This shit's serious. Bye now.